Hello there. Well, as you know, we are really in a period of language conference, and as I have already said on the first video, everybody is invited to get into this discussion. We decided not to get everybody invited, so it doesn't matter if you are on the speakers list, but you can just click on live and start your transmission live. And so this is the aim of that. I know that sometimes when we are talking, this takes a time. This is not a formal talk. This is not my formal talk. I will probably deliver my formal talk tomorrow or on Monday. But I will talk about some things, and I got some books to talk about, to discuss, and maybe we can really get and exchange some ideas about that. Just check something here. We get some interesting here. Let me see. Okay, I guess okay. Let's first. I don't know if you know me, but I'm the administrator of this Polyglot group, Polyglot the Community. My name is Jimmy Melo. I was born in Brazil. My family is from Catalonia, so I grew speaking two languages. In fact, it should be three, but only two: Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and Spanish. And then, just when I grew, I learned a little bit of Catalan. Okay, today I'm going to talk about some books. I will start with this one. Maybe a lot of people have already seen it. Fluent Forever, How to Learn Any Language Fast and Never Forget It. Is it really possible to learn any language fast and never forget it? Okay, first of all, we have to really wonder and think carefully. What does it mean fast? This is a very tricky question, isn't it? Because when you say fast, maybe if I say that 3 years is something fast, you will agree with me or not. I can say that 3 months is something fast. You can agree with it or not. So we have to really think about that. What is to learn a language fast? What is fast on that issue? So on this book, really, it's a very interesting book. I'm not sure if I have taken note on some things, but it is very interesting. It's some points here. We aren't built to memorize. Rather, our brains are designed to think and automatically hold on to what is important. And this is really interesting, isn't it? I will read it again. Our brains are designed to think and automatically hold on to what is important. And so when you are not memorizing, you are not learning things, maybe it's because the things you are trying to learn are not important. Yeah, according to Gabriel Weiner, this is a good theory, isn't it? Another one. Fortunately, we don't need to be stressed to remember. We just need to be interested. Oh, good. Yeah, and so when we stop and think like that, our brains will naturally select what is important for us. And so I have already tried to learn some languages, and then I have realized that I couldn't memorize anything useful after that. And say, why not? Then I realized that that language would be absolutely useless for my life. Maybe I had nothing to to put on that language, or that language could not put anything into my life. Okay, I'll not name the language, but I have already given up to study some languages because this happens. This is natural. Yeah, and so here I will focus on that. Yeah, our brains are designed to think and automatically hold on what's important. And so if you are not learning something, maybe it's because it's not important. Otherwise, it would be important. And another one, you don't need to be stressed to remember. You just need to be interested. So if you are not learning some things because you are not interested on something. Many people say that I would like to learn language X, W, Y, but you don't really want to learn a language. What you really want is to get involved. Probably. Yeah, this happens. Some people just want what comes with the language. Sometimes you can be, we have some examples of famous polyglots that, because they speak 8, 9, 10, 12, and 20, I don't know, some languages, this person gets famous. And so maybe learning a language can bring fame. Sometimes it can bring you a good job. Sometimes it can bring you, here, I live in Brazil. Here people generally use the expression that Mr. So-and-so has a degree in, I don't know what, but, and he speaks German, English, Spanish, and so this, to be a polyglot, to speak more than one language, is a kind of status. Maybe you are not interested on the language themselves, but you are interested on what it comes with the languages. Yes. And so if it's just that, it's not enough. You are not going to learn anything because you are not really interested. And so we don't need to be stressed to remember. We just need to be interested. If you are not interested, your brain will simply discard it. Okay. What else we have here? Okay. Yeah, you talk about spaced repetition after. Okay, another important thing here. Okay, no, not with that. Because frustration impedes your ability to remember, which puts the frustrating cards in front of you more often. This is very, very interesting. But because this book is very focused on flashcards. This author, exactly in my case, I really love flashcards. I have a collection of ready-made flashcards, and for me, the best and unique way to learn a language is by using flashcards. I prefer paper flashcards, but maybe you prefer spaced repetition softwares. Okay, this is what he says here. Okay, another thing is important here. One of the reasons why a language program and classes fail is that no one can give you a language. Check that. No one can give you a language. You have to take it for yourself. You are rewiring your own brain. And this is very interesting, isn't it? Because nobody can give you a language. And so you can buy Assimil, you can buy Teach Yourself, it doesn't matter. These books are really very good books, but nobody, Assimil, Teach Yourself, they cannot give you the language. Yeah? A language can be acquired. You have to put all your effort on doing that. Let's see what else we have here. Here comes a magic. Another group of participants was placed in the same situation. Only this time, their computer screen provided immediate feedback after each button's press. Feedback. Feedback is another very important point. So if you are really interested on learning a language, your brain will naturally keep certain things. This happens when you are programming a travel. Imagine that you have no knowledge about, I don't know, Croatian, and you have tickets just bought to Croatia. And so when you pick a book, like, this is Russian, but like Lonely Planet, you will open it and you will find the words and probably you will memorize them immediately. This is not Croatian, I will not check my Croatian Lonely Planet here, but you say, for example, here, as you know, this book, they have the basic things like hello, goodbye, please, thank you, you're welcome, yes, excuse me, I understand, I don't understand. Probably, if you are really interested on that, you are going to say, how do you say hello in Russian? Oh, здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Oh, good. So, здравствуйте is how to say hello. Oh, how do you say goodbye? До свидания. Okay. So, probably, you don't have to remember. Your brain will make this effort for you. Because it will automatically make links and connections because you are really interested in that. And if you have feedback, we are feed with the feedback. If I just learn a language by myself and I have no feedbacks, for this reason, generally people here in this Facebook group, people like speaking and showing their abilities. I don't know why people are not doing this during this conference, but you can do that. People generally like to, they are learning French and say they would like to speak some things in French to check if they are really speaking a good French. And they don't really want to show their abilities. They want a feedback because we are fed by our feedback. If we have no the teacher really serves only for that, for giving feedbacks. Another thing that's it's very interesting here, he says that your brain sucks in images like a sponge. Yep, generally you can use a flashcard with that. And so there are a lot of things here, there are a lot of things carrying on. You can ask me questions. I'm not sure if you can you can ask some questions, but you can write questions. If I can see them, I can try to answer that, because I said this is not an official presentation, just a chat to talk about that. And I have some books here and I will say that. What else I have here? Let me just see it. The difference between false memories and true ones is the same as for Jews. It's always the false ones that look the most real, the most brilliant. This was said by Salvador Dali. It's good, isn't it? Okay, false memory and true ones. And so, maybe one thing that I would like to share, a good idea, is that pretend. You say that you have no intention to go to Russia, but try to pretend that you will travel to Russia in 1 month time. So, if you start to live and create an environment that you are going to travel to Russia in 1 month time, and you start to check podcasts, you start to check websites, you will create the need. And if you have the right need, your brain will immediately keep every single word. And so, when you open this again and you say please, you say пожалуйста, you say пожалуйста. Okay, that's it. Because you know that the word please is very important if you are traveling. And so, пожалуйста is a very important word. Okay, извините, пожалуйста, excuse me, please. And so, you can start create this environment when you create the need As I have said before, I was quoting some, now I'm quoting Fluent Forever, and I started discussing what is learning a language fast. So first, what is fast? We have to determine what is fast and never forget it. Is it really important to forget or never forget a language? Why do we forget a language? Okay, yes, Guilherme, I try my best to have a British. I don't know if I have a British accent. I have a British pronunciation. In fact, accent is out of the thing. Yes, it's a good thing. Yes, how do we get rid of our accent? What's the difference between accent and pronunciation? I could say little, and I would say little, but not with an American accent. I'm just using the American pronunciation instead of saying little. And so accent and pronunciation are two completely different things. And really I consider that a British accent or British pronunciation is a little bit neuter for everyone to understand. And yes, Guilherme, I try my best to use the British pronunciation and to make it easier for everyone to understand it. Okay, but just keeping back here, just make an analysis of this sentence. How to learn any language fast and never forget it. So I will bring it back. What is fast? There is a famous author. We have the pleasure to have him here last year during the previous Polyglot Congress that now is Language Conference. Benelius is famous for his website and book with the name Fluent in 3 Months. That he generally says that the aim is not to state that you will be able to speak any language in 3 months. But I say, yes, you can learn a language in 3 months, in 2 months. One thing that he emphasizes on his book is that we can't measure the time. This is my cat. We can't measure the time in months or years, but in hours. You can say that I run a language school here in Brazil. My students come to the school twice a week, 50 minutes every lesson, and they go home. If they only trust on these 50 minutes to learn a language, they will have just 8 hours monthly. So the amount of subject that I can teach them in a month, check that, a month, is not in a month, it's just in 8 hours. So you can put all these 8 hours in one day. And so these students can learn the same or more content, not by measuring by months. When I say 3 months, okay, yes, I surely agree, because of that normally people that work find this task harder. Yeah, okay. It's because of that. People generally, you have to put a priority in your life. What is a priority for you? Do you really want to learn a language fast? Do you really want to get into this polyglot world? If so, what is fast? Okay, so fast can be, I don't know. Some students really say, Jimmy, take care. We are not hurrying to learn a language. I say, it's okay. So this course can take 8 years, 9 years. So yeah, I can give it in small doses, and I can give it step by step. I really think one thing that people don't really understand is that, imagine if I speak a word each 5 or 10 seconds. You will never understand my whole conversation. And this is what happens if you try to learn a language at a very slow pace. If you take it into very slow and you go really very slow down, you go step by step. Imagine that you take this Asimil book, and this is Sanskrit, and you take it in small steps. Asim usually recommends that you study 1 lesson a day. Imagine that you will study, no, I think that 1 lesson is too much for me. I will share this 1 lesson into 3 days. So imagine how slowly this will be. This will be absolutely strange and weird. You cannot learn that. Even I think that 1 lesson a day is not too much. I think it's short. It's like to speak 1 word each 5 seconds. So the less you learn, the less you will absorb. So the more information you get together, more sense your brain will have. There's another very good book here. It's in Portuguese, but it's you can find it in I'm not sure if it's in English, but Alfred Tomatis, he wrote this book. The original title is Nous sommes tous nés polyglottes. Everybody is born polyglot, and he has and he holds the idea of that everybody is born with the natural ability to learn a language. And I come best here, fast or slowly. This will How long does it take for a child to remember, to learn a language? Usually a child will take, let's say, 2 or 3 years. With 2 years, a child can understand many things, almost everything, but he or she will just start speaking after 3 years. Ok, Estevan, eu posso falar português, mas eu vou falar português depois. Now I'm speaking English. Okay, then I can speak Portuguese for sure, no problem. And so, todos nascemos poliglotas. And so this is a very good book, and it's very interesting, this idea, this representation, because it says that everybody has this ability to learn, and to learn it, you really have to learn as fast as you can. Yeah, believe me. I generally say that if you want to say, I have already done some challenges. I like to challenge myself. See, okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm here again. Okay, I was wondering. Sorry, I forgot. I had this crash here. Okay, the best way to learn a language is not by sharing it into small pieces. The best way to learn a language is to learn it fast. Okay, now I got it. So when I challenge myself, if you go to mypolyglot.com, there are 2 challenges where I give small details. Where I decided to learn Esperanto in 24 hours. 24 hours? Yeah, but it could be 24 hours if I do not sleep. This could be, as I said before, we don't measure the time of learning a language by months or years or even weeks, but in hours. And so 24 hours is not so short amount of time. It's just 8, 16, okay, so it would be 2 or 3 months if you study twice a week, 15 minutes a day, like in a common school. And so, but I decided to put 24 hours and learn Esperanto. Mi parolas Esperanton. Obviously, to learn a language, it's easy. So, everybody, how to learn a language? Fast. Can we learn a language fast? Yes, you can. Why? Because everybody is born polyglot. But the problem is that people really try to learn it step by step. And so if you really try to learn it step by step, is as I have just demonstrated. It's like speak a word after 5 minutes. This doesn't make sense for your brain. Your brain doesn't really understand what is lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. You can learn lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at once. Yes, your brain will feel fed more than if you give it small doses, because your brain really your brain is really very fast. You know that we use just 10% of our capacity. So it's because of that, because we grew up with this wrong idea that a language has to be learned slowly. Who said that? I don't know. By the way, when a mom is growing her child, does the mother really speak? Okay, sometimes she speaks slowly, but after she starts to get common and at normal pace conversations with the baby, because our brains really they are hunger brains, and so the best thing to do is really to put a lot of information. And so if you are using Asimil, for instance, don't just follow one lesson and divide this lesson in 3. Asimil says that generally you have to learn a lesson a day, and so then you have the first wave, etc. But you can learn more than that. And you say that, but I won't memorize every single word. Say, I know. For these you have spaced repetition. For these we have flashcards. Because you can learn the things and then you can review them. Reviewing is the key to learn. Not slow down your speed, but see everything as a whole, learn the most that you can, and then you can come back and put some flashcards. And so, if you are using either Asimil or Teach Yourself, you don't need necessarily to follow what they say here. They say here we have lesson 2, breathing, iota, subscribe, reading. And so I will just read this lesson 1. Okay, I have finished lesson 1. So now we have lesson 2, reading practice. No, I can't do that right now because today is lesson 1. No, the book is just divided pedagogically. You don't have to follow that. Probably, if you see lesson 1, that is reading practice, declensions of nouns and adjectives, and you carry on, you have some exercises, then you have definite article, then you have second declension, then you have first declension, and maybe if you have time, you can see verb tenses. Maybe you can have the idea of the complete, in this case, Greek text. And so, instead of slow down your learning, speed up, because you will learn furthermore. And so, just coming back here, just to say that how to learn any language fast. What is fast? This will depend on what you are looking for. Fast can be 24 hours, as I did with my Esperanto. Another thing that I have done was to... Okay, I will read this question after. I decided to take my Dutch from B1 to B2 level in 24 hours. And I did it, and there's a video showing that I could do that, because I put all my efforts on that. Let me read this question here. Pablo Cruz asked me, what can you say about when you start learning too many languages at the same time because you're over-enthusiastic? It didn't happen to me until this year, and I feel quite discouraged because I'm learning everything very slowly in each language. I hate feeling that I'm learning slowly. Yeah, first of all, this is another topic. I guess one of our speakers will say how to learn multiple languages at the same time. There is a good technique to do that. I don't recommend you do that unless you really have a lot of time. And now I say real time. For example, as I said, I put all my effort on learning Esperanto and raise my Dutch level in 24 hours, but it was just that. I couldn't do Esperanto and Dutch in 24 hours at the same time. So it would be impossible, because our brain likes to be fed with a lot of information, but you have a limit. You can't take 2 books at the same time and read them. If you could do that, this would be perfect, but unfortunately we are human beings and we have some limits. I have already learned language at the same time, but I have given me a long-term goal. And so you can learn, for instance, German and French, for instance. But when I say at the same time, this means that you really have to put all your effort on that. Decide what is, again, what is fast. Fast is the problem. Fast for you is 3 months. Is it possible? If you think that, yes, I'm going to learn language in 3 months. So, say, what is 3 months? 3 months is 8 hours a day. It is just 2 hours a day, or it is twice a week, 50 minutes. 3 months, we can't measure the learning process into months, years, or even weeks, but in hours. Think on that. A person says that I learned the language X in a week. Is it possible? Yes, this will depend on how many hours you put your effort. These strange noises are my dogs. Castagnola, Antonio. Yes, they have weird names, Castagnola and Antonio. And so they are making strange noises. Gosh, I forgot what I was saying about that. Yes, you can learn language at the same time, but you have to put your attention on that. You have to divide. For example, imagine that you are learning Dutch, German, and French. And you decide to learn them very fast, and you decide to put 8 hours a day. So this will not be 8 hours. It would be 4 hours for French, 4 hours for German. And so your time will be split. And so I know that when we start learning a language, we really get enthusiastic about that. And so I think that you will run the risk to not learn a single language. At the end, you realize that you haven't learned anything. You can't hold a single conversation in any language. I have realized that. Once I tried, I made the crazy thing to learn Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish at the same time. This was crazy. Yeah. First, because the choice was ridiculous. How could I learn Norwegian, Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish at the same time? This would be absolutely impossible, because they are very similar languages. So it is very, very difficult to learn them. And so if you say, can you say anything in Dutch, Swedish, or Norwegian, and say, no, I can't. I have studied 3 months, the 3 languages at the same time. If you try, there are some videos of me trying and explaining what I did on Facebook or YouTube, but at the end, I didn't get anything. And really, I can't even remember how to say I am. Y-I-R. Yes, I can. But I'm not sure if Y-I-R is Danish, Norwegian, or Swedish, because they're very similar, and so you can learn languages simultaneously. And if you do that, try your best to make the best choice, probably a Romance language, and then Teutonic or Germanic language, or an Asian language, plus I don't know. But I really would say that it would be better if you put all your effort on one language and really put 8 hours a day during 3 months. I will insist that you don't measure it by months, weeks, or year, but by hours. And so put a long time learning, I don't know, let me see, Russian. Okay, decide that you are going to learn Russian in 3 months. So learn Russian in 3 months. But don't slow down. Put a lot of things, because, as I have mentioned, everybody is born polyglot. And so this book is really amazing. It has a lot of very interesting things. I really recommend it. If you can check it on internet, Todos Nascemos Poliglotas. But the author is Alfred Tomatis. I'm not sure, but I guess he's from Switzerland. The original name is Nous sommes tous nés polyglottes. And it's a fantastic book because he proves that we really can learn a language. And he really says that why we sometimes have some difficulties in understanding. This is very interesting. I'm not sure if I have some graphics here. Let me just try to see. Because each language has a different pinch. It's like... I'm not good at numbers, but it's like English has a frequency of, shall we say, 3 on this chart. And German has something like -1. And so a person who speaks English will have some difficulties to understand German, because German is a little bit down on his level of speaking. It's like French. French is a little bit. French is really different from that, and so Portuguese is that. It has a lot of charts here that shows that. But I'm not seeing them. But this is very, very, very interesting. I promise that I will put a chart that just for you to have an idea. And so he suggests that the way to create another environment to improve your listening is by listening to classicals, especially to Mozart, and you can increase that. Because let's talk about that. As I said before, just if you have just arrived, this is not a formal presentation, but just a chat about languages and some books. Sometimes, I don't know if you know or if you already heard about that, but when we are learning a language, we have brains. Generally we say in English, the expression is you have brains. You don't have a brain, you have brains. Because you have the left one and the left one, the right and the left one. Your mother tongue is stored on your left brain, on your right brain. But when you are learning a language, the language is on your left brain, because it's the logical. When you try to learn a language, the language. We try to see grammar, we try to see vocabulary, so we try to have some points that you have to think about. You try to make some translations, to mental translations in your mind. And so generally, the language that you are learning are on the left side of your brain. but your mother tongue is on the right side. Okay, and I will return to this book. It says that how to learn a language fast. We have discussed that fast will depend on hours and not on months or years. And says, and never forget it. How to never forget a language is to transfer. The only way to never forget it is to transfer the information stored on your left brain to your right brain. When you make this transition, it will be there forever. You are really fluent. You are really. You have generally when you are C2 level or even C1 sometimes, the language has automatically transferred itself to the right hemisphere, because it is a part of you. You don't have to think about that. I can speak English. I can't. I'm not a native speaker, but it is on my right side. Exactly as Portuguese, I can open my mouth and start speaking Portuguese right now. I can start speaking Italian right now. I can start speaking Spanish right now, because those are languages that have a high level, and I can switch them without problems here. But if I try to speak Russian, I will stop and say, okay, can you see that I can't really, the first thing that came to my mind was "ya mówię," but "ya mówię" is not Russian, it's Polish. It's because those two languages are very similar and they are stored on the left brain, and so I'm not fluent on them. I can't hold a conversation without preparation. So generally I like to say that learning a language is very easy. The difficult part is not forget it. I can learn the basics of any language in 24 hours, but I will forget it in the next 7 days. Because learn a language is very easy if you, as I said at the beginning, put everything together and give your brain the sense of wholeness. But if you start to share it into pieces, you will have problems. I have learned Russian using Pimsleur. Where is Pimsleur? He's a very interesting book, by the way, How to Learn Foreign Language by Paul Pimsleur. It's available on Amazon. It's a very interesting book. It really teaches the background of Pimsleur and the ways that Dr. Pimsleur created his course. And I really learned Russian. I followed the 3 levels of Russian when I was learning it. But I had a problem, because when I studied Russian, I followed Pimsleur tip that was learn only half an hour every day. And so I could say извините, я американский, я не говорю по-русски, я не разумею, but it was just step by step. When I started to learn things, they said, this is the end of today's lesson. When you continue tomorrow, please begin with track number 2. I say, oh my God. And they say that you cannot study more than 1 lesson a day. You have to study 1 lesson a day, but you can study the same one 3-4 times at the same time. But I don't agree with that. If you have time, why can't you go forward? You can take Pimsleur, and if you have time, study 8 hours of that. That would be 16 lessons. And so this will really make sense, because your brain will have everything. Because Pimsleur is good because it has natural intervals, and so. But you can do that. You have to feed your brain with a lot of information, not just with pieces of information here and there. The best way to learn a language is by putting everything together and learn. Never share into pieces, because it's the best way to not learning a language. So if I could write a book, nowadays everybody writes books about how to learn a language, how to learn every language. I have a lot of things here, becoming fluent, how to learn any language. But I would really like to write a book on how don't learn a language. Because people are doing a lot of things, but many are doing the wrong things. So maybe we should learn and teach what you should not do. The first thing you should not do, definitively, is study in small pieces. Study step by step. Learn a lesson a day. There is an expression that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Doesn't serve for languages. So I can make an adaptation that a lesson a day will keep your language away. It's a good one, yeah? A lesson a day will keep your language or your fluency away. Because you have potential to learn more. And the key is reviewing. Obviously, you have no magic memory. You are going to forget things. For this reason, we have flashcards, we have Anki, we have etc. Many things. Okay, so Pimsleur is a very good method, by the way, but I don't recommend you use it half hour every day. Use more. Give yourself 8 hours. And so 8 hours, by doing half hours, we have 16 lessons. And so in 2 days, you have the complete first level. In 4 days, you have the complete second level. And in 6 days, less than a week, you have level 1, 2, and 3. And according to them, you are going to reach a very high level. And it will work. But if you do this without stopping, without breaking it into half lessons. So you can learn Russian, whatever. Pimsleur is one of the programs that is very famous in America, North America, South America, and I guess now it's getting popular also in Europe. Pimsleur language programs, it's available in many languages, especially the most common languages are available in the 3 levels. You can learn them in 6 days. Just by putting all your effort on that. Say, but I have no time. Okay, no problem. So, stop looking for these tips. How to learn any language fast. If you have no time, why are you looking for a way to learn it fast? The best way to not learn a language is by breaking it into pieces. So, the best way to fail with Pimsleur, for instance, is to learn half hour a day. People say, but I got success in learning with Pimsleur half hour a day. For this, it's a very famous method. Okay, maybe you have it worked for you, but you could learn even better. Your level, the number of repetitions, the number of retention would be better if you kept learning without stopping. Maybe you have no time now, but when will you take holiday? Yeah, when you are on holiday, you can learn a language in 6 days, 7 days. Let's take the last day to make a complete review and try to read something, to speak something, to get into a community and try to get a feedback that we talked about that previously too. What else I have here? Okay, I will talk about this. Babel no more. Well, probably you have already read this book. Maybe you have already heard about this book. Maybe you have already watched his video. He was present, Michael Erhard. He was in the Polyglot conference in New York. You can check on YouTube. He has a very interesting presentation there. But this book was good. Yeah, I will read some things that I have it here. Okay, he has something here. What is a person? Define mastery as being able to speak a language with perfect fluency and correctness. Correctness. I don't agree with that. Fluency is not like that. Fluency is not has nothing to do with perfection. Fluency means that the conversation flows. Fluency has nothing to do with the number of words. I generally like to say, for example, I will give some examples of that. Imagine that you are a student of English, and you have just started your course, and you just know the basics. And so, but you say, I am happy because I speak English. English is very important. My life is very good. I am single. I live with my family. I study and work as a teacher. I have a car. I can drive a car and I drive well. Can you see? I have just said a lot of sentences with a reasonable fluency. Okay, it was correct. Basically, it was correct. Because the definition of fluency has nothing to do with that. Is to speak a language with perfect fluency and correctness. It's not that. It hasn't to be the fluency. This is not to speak a language. It's not mastery a language. You really, this person is. But imagine on the other way, a person has studied English for 8 years, and it really has a huge vocabulary, but takes an enormous time to access those information. And so the person will say, I'd rather English than French. Cause French, it's a weird language. Can you see? If you compare the first example that I have just given of a student using basic structures but with confidence, and the other one that is advanced and has difficult and complex vocabulary, but takes the time to recall these words, he's not fluent. So he has some correctnesses, but doesn't flow. So to be fluent means that it is flowing. The conversation is flowing. The things are flowing. Doesn't matter if you know just 200 words. And so you can be fluent with just 500 words. And you can never be fluent having 5,000 words. Fluency will depend on how fast you can recall and can take the language for you. And so this is terrible. Okay. Okay, now we had another thing here. Knowing a language was likely to mean knowing its grammatical particulars and its life in texts. It's terrible. There is nothing to do with. what is often called fluency might be no more than confidence. Now I really agree with that. Check that. What is often called fluency might be no more than confidence. Okay, now I quite agree. Fluency has nothing to do with correctness, has nothing to do with number of vocabulary, but has something to do with confidence. If you really feel confident, even having just 500 words, you are fluent. For this reason, I say that you can learn a language very fast. As I said before, in 6 days, by dedicating 8 hours daily, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, using Pimsleur or whatever. It can be very useful. And so I'll check more. We have here some things. No. Okay, he says another thing here. That in Bangalore, I ate dinner with Zainab Bava, an urban studies graduated student who learns languages for her research by hanging out and living with families. She said, the best way to learn a language is to sit with 4-year-olds. Maybe. If you sit with a child, maybe you can learn a language. It's interesting too. Another thing here, human brains don't handle languages. They handle bundles of electrical signals that are more or less distinct, that can be allowed to interfere. Interesting too, because we learn with this. So the best way to learn a language is to learn a bundle of things and not divide it. But the problem with this book is that it focused too much on Cardinal Mezzofanti. And it has here, I have seen something like, let's see that. In Mezzofanti, on time, his method must have seemed sensibly industrial. Today, they dazzle us only by their vigor and persistence. Mezzofanti himself once said, even as an adult, he learned languages like a schoolboy, writing out words and verb conjugations and memorizing them. He made good use of his time, make it more abundant. He talked to himself in his language while he was alone. He read dictionaries, catechisms, vocabularies, and literature of great variety. He sought people to talk to, and he took notice on their conversations. He also translated among his various languages, labels and games, routines and diversions. He invented and discovered them all. And whatever his method was, he stuck to it. It's important. He stuck to the method. The story of his life said he'd been rescued from carpentry. If his language life had really been such a drudgery, one wonders whether it amounted to a rescue at all. Okay, and so, okay, Mezzofanti, so he had a very interesting method, as you can see here. As he describes the Mezzofanti method, he really put all his effort to learn a language, and he tried to put everything together. But the problem here, I didn't really like this book because the emphasis on Mezzofanti life is that we have a lot of polyglots to make studies, and he just researched on Cardinal Mezzofanti that we have no real information about him. We could not really measure on how fluent he really was, because he was in ancient times. And he also had here Professor Argylis, that is another polyglot. He's a very skilled polyglot. I had the pleasure to meet him twice. But he generally likes to read books, and so his polyglottery is really based on reading Do I see any problem? No, but we have to really determine what is fluency. As I said before, it's just speaking well, is reading well, is writing well. The fluency can vary a lot. Okay, well, I love this book too, Becoming Fluent. I don't know why this book is not didn't spread. It has a lot of very interesting things here, and even Benny from Fluent in 3 Months, he did a review about that. It's here. I just read the review of Benny. There are many books about language learning in general, but it's great to finally see this scientifically sound account of second language acquisition. I was constantly nodding my head at things that I know to be true as an experienced language learner and coach to language learners, explained in a non-nonsense way, drawing on many valid sources, recommended for people who want to know the facts about adult foreign language acquisition. So this book is absolutely amazing. Take note, Becoming Fluent, the author is Richard Roberts and Roger Krauss. I don't know, Krauss. This is the author. The press... it is the MIT, is from Massachusetts institution, and it's available also. It's the MIT Press, but it has here Cambridge, Massachusetts, London, England. And so the second name is How Cognitive Science Can Help Adults Learn a Foreign Language. I'd really like to make a presentation about this because this book is absolutely astonishing. I have a lot of quotes. As if I would stay here for more than 1 hour just reading and explaining the quotes that this person has here. Okay, I have said I have already discussed many things. Just letting clear that this was not a formal presentation, but just to encourage you that are watching me or have already watched it. I'm not sure, now it seems that there are 4 people, but generally when we see there are 100, I'm not sure how Google or Facebook really measure the number of people that watch or start watching or watch it after. But I really want to encourage you to start your own video. Take some books and start doing what I did. I just took some books and decided to start a discussion. And this is the aim of Language Conference, is to talk about languages. Can you see? I just I opened a book, I quoted some writers, and I discussed about that. I agreed with them, I disagreed with them. And so this is the aim of that. And so today, yesterday, we got... Elise Monti giving a brilliant presentation. Today we have had Trisha Gamba. And I would like to see more. I would like you to make your own presentation. You don't have to be on the speakers list, because I didn't invite no one. There was not a formal invitation. I just made a huge invitation. I said everybody can take part on this conference. I know that the other conferences, people are selected just the best ones, but I really believe that everybody can share something interesting. Maybe if you are not the author, if you haven't read a lot of books, I am sure that you have some experiences with a lot of things. You have already used Assimil, or you have already used Teach Yourself, you have already used Pimsleur, Michelle Thomas. Maybe you can share with us that. Okay, this video will be available here and after on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel has no name yet, because previously this was called Polyglot Congress. I guess if you write Polyglot Congress, you are going to find out some things. But now it's called Language Conference, and we are reorganizing and putting things there. And this video will be there, and you are going to see it complete, and we can get some discussions. And it's that. And so feel free to start your own live. So the community, last year, the community was only open to the speakers, but this year I decided to let it open, to make a test, to see if people are really courageous enough to start your own transmission. Please don't wait for the famous one. You are famous enough. You can become the famous one. And after that, give us your bill, your biography, and then you can do things like that. Thank you for watching me. If you have any question, write them for my next presentation. My battery is running out. Bye for now. And good morning if you are from good morning. Good evening if you are from good evening. Good night if you are from good night. And see you soon. Bye. And if you want to listen a lot of interviews, I am updating my podcast. Is mypolyglot.com. Polyglot is with Y. Don't forget that. Mypolyglot.com. And there are a lot of interviews in different languages. There are some challenges that I did for myself, like learn Esperanto in 24 hours, improve my Dutch in 24 hours, and things like that. And there are a lot of interviews with famous people like Richard Simcott. Who else? Let me remind. We have a lot of people there. We have. Check it out. Names doesn't come to my mind at this very moment, but you can check it out there. And thank you for watching me. Bye.